Hey everybody, it's Angela back with another process video, and I am going to scrapbook this picture of my mom, and this was taken back in the 1980s, and I think it's the only picture I have of her in the kitchen. You just didn't take that many photos back then, and so I'm really sad that I don't have more of her, but so happy that I did take this one. And this layout is going to be done with some packaging. I did a layout using packaging, I think on my process video, like 2 process videos ago, like number 54, I think. And I used packaging from some makeup that I had purchased. And this time I'm going to use a bunch of kitchen or food type packaging. And these are all things that kind of remind me of mom in the kitchen and growing up and stuff. They're not, all of them aren't vintage, you know, like this cornstarch and stuff. These are all off of just packaging I've been using in my own kitchen. And then I do have a couple vintage items, ephemera items. So I've got like a fruit pectin, some beef bouillon cubes, a yeast packet, the cornstarch, this vanilla flavoring, and some food coloring boxes, and just things that, yeah, reminded me, you know, of growing up, things that were in our kitchen when I was a kid. And so I just kind of been saving them aside to do a layout like this. And so I'm just trimming some of the boxes down. You can see here I had just flattened it, so now I'm just taking it out so that I can get the logos and stuff. And trimming down that beef bouillon package and just kind of fiddling with it. And I fiddle quite a bit because I don't want it to get too cluttery, and yet I do want kind of a collage effect. So I'm just kind of seeing if I want to cluster them all down the right hand side, or the left hand side, excuse me, or want to do a diagonal or along the top, or I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to do this. And I'm using some of the basic gray herbs and honey paper, and that kind of gold geometric pattern I have there in the background. And then also that card right there with the pink on top that says my favorites is also from the Herbs and Honey collection, but I don't wind up using it. So now I'm trimming down this food coloring box. It was those boxes, you know, that have the little tiny squeeze bottles of food coloring, and I just remember always loving those as a kid. I don't know why, because I guess when we were doing egg coloring or stuff like that. I do have that vintage like Good Housekeeping coupon, and then another one for some Chex cereal, little coupons that you could save and then get free stuff, kind of like green stamps. And so I do have a few vintage pieces on here. And so I'm kind of liking this layering and just trying to overlap things but still kind of allow the logos and stuff and the different colors to show through. And I like on the vanilla box too, that's in gold foil, so that gets me a little bit of gold foil on this layout. And I start with this, and I do wind up changing it around a little bit here, and so that way I guess you can see my process, or you know how this doesn't just automatically come together when you do something like this. You do have to kind of fuss around with it until you get something that you like. So at first I was kind of going for this more diagonal look, and so I put that down, and now I'm trimming off the manufacturer's strip of this paper. And I also wind up trimming that paper down and matting it on a cardstock later. So I'm going to go ahead and put the photo down. And I love this photo because she looks so happy, and she's got this beautiful roasted turkey there, and you can see the old turkey platter that we always used every Thanksgiving. It's like a big white platter, and then it has kind of like a raised embossed turkey on it that's like actually has color and stuff on it. And I think she's still got that same platter. And then on the stove you can see the silver pot that she always boiled the potatoes in when she was going to make mashed potatoes. And it just shows the kitchen when we were kids growing up, that even though they live in the same home, is completely different. It's gone and remodeled. So you can even see in the background where the old TVs and her Betty Crocker cookbook. And so I just love the photo. It's really, I don't know, sometimes it's these simple little things that, you know, now you can take lots of pictures of people cooking in the kitchen, but back then you just might not have any. And so I'm just so thankful to have this photo, and I just absolutely love it. So I wanted to do something a little different with it than just, you know, scrapbook it with regular paper. I thought pulling out some of these packaging and different things that also reminded me of the kitchen growing up would really help do it justice. So now I'm pulling out a few little ephemera bits, and these are from Ellie's Studio, and I like that tag, and I like that little banner that says love, and that other little tag with the eats on the bottom of it. So I'm going to incorporate those in there. And now I'm just trimming down some of the packaging, and then I want to change it around because adding these ephemera bits just kind of changed the whole conglomeration of it. So I wind up peeling it back off, and that's what's nice. I had used some washi tape and I used some dot adhesive, so I had a little bit of wiggle room on taking stuff apart and moving it around. So now I'm just tightening that cluster up, leaving a little less of each of the logos showing. And then that gives me room to put that tag down the left-hand side, and that's where I'm going to do my journaling. And then I'm going to overlap, since everything else is behind the photo, I wanted to make sure that tag on the upper right-hand corner overlap the top of the photo. And same way with that little banner, so that I have some things above the photo, even though most of the other stuff is below. So I go ahead and commit to that tag and this little banner. And then I still wanted something along the bottom to keep it from floating. So I take these, the packaging of the food coloring, and then this Good Housekeeping seal, and put that on the bottom. And so I'm liking that. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of put a little bit of adhesive under there. And then I wind up, because some of it, like the yeast packet, is made out of like some kind of plasticky vinyl stuff, and everything was all at different levels. I wind up just using a little bit of score tape, which is really super sticky double-sided tape, and that just makes sure everything stays down. So now I'm going to go ahead and put my journaling tag in there. And so I'm really liking that. And I got this washi tape, I think it's a KI Memories washi tape at Tuesday Morning here not too long ago. And the colors really worked good with all these pieces of packaging. So I'm just using the washi tape to kind of meld everything together, kind of overlap some of the stuff. Here I'm putting a little bit more of that super sticky tape behind there. And so I'm kind of liking that, you know, just kind of all central around the photo, really drawing your eye in. So now I'm looking through my thickers, and I had gotten 2 thickers at Tuesday Morning when I got the washi tape, but neither of them worked for this layout. And so I have this one that I think I got in either my Scraptastic or Cocoa Daisy kit, and I hadn't broken into yet, so I wanted to go ahead and use it. So I'm looking through, and I like the Love This. So like I do, I put it on wax paper to help me figure out where it's going to go, and I stick it down, and then I change my mind, you know. So it's like, I'm not sure why I use the wax paper to begin with, because yeah. So I go ahead and I just lightly lay it down, and then I'm like, no. So then I think, okay, maybe I'll give up my journaling tag to ground my title on, but I didn't really want to do that. So here I am still thinking, okay, I'm going to put it at the top. And then I'm like, put it there, and I'm like, okay, yeah, it's going to stay there. So I stick it down and I find the dot for my eye and put it on there. And then I pulled a bunch of cardstock, so I'm just looking at what colors I like the best. And I kind of like this light craft color because it just, I don't know, it quiets the whole thing down. The other colors were too vibrant and stuff, and this one just seemed to, I don't know, I don't want to say dull it down, but it just quiets it, and you know, because there's so much going on. So I go ahead and use this, and I just put some of this double sticky photo tape. It's not super sticky, it's just the normal stuff. And it's just so that I don't go through quite so much dot adhesive. And I think it sticks a little better than the dot adhesive. So I do add a little bit of dot adhesive in there. Then I go ahead and I trimmed it so there was a 1/2 inch around all 4 sides. And then I also, I think I wanted to add another height or another texture. So I grabbed these little bows. I found these on sale at Michael's. They were like 70% off or something. Because I do have a bow making die, so I didn't really need to purchase bows, but since they were 70% off and already assembled, I went ahead and did it. So there's a close-up. You can see the Spice Island. You can still see a little bit of the gold on that packaging. There's my tag, my washi tape, and you'll see in the end photos that I do outline my patterned paper with just a brown fine tip pen, just because I thought it needed a little bit more of an outline or definition between that background paper and the cardstock. And then I also did my journaling on the tag, and you'll see that here in a second, I think. And there it is. Yeah, so you can see a little bit of the outlining that I did and then my journaling. So I really love how this turned out, and I loved using this free packaging on my layout, and it just a lot of things that remind me of Mom's Kitchen and growing up. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions or anything, just leave them below. I'll see you next time. Bye.